ladies and gentlemen, it is Kevin Jackwitz here with the Caged Review, and we are about to review Raw for March 26th, 2018, and this is the show just before the go-home show to WrestleMania, so 2 weeks out. This show should be phenomenal. This is, the point where WWE really wants to catch people's attention. They want to get them invested in WrestleMania. They want to make sure that all their storylines are tight, all their spots are tight. There's no wasted motion in these shows. Did it deliver? I don't really think that it lived up to what it should be for 13 days away from WrestleMania. I don't. For a lot of reasons. We're about to get into all of that. We start out with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. They come out to the ring and they're talking about Roman Reigns, how he got attacked last week. They show a clip of Brock Lesnar beating Roman Reigns in handcuffs. Roman Reigns being carted out on the stretcher and Brock Lesnar coming back down. I don't know that this was Heyman's best promo, honestly, and he's really, really, really good a lot of the times, but sometimes it's too commercial for me. And you can tell when somebody's selling something, and, obviously that's his job, but you want it to feel like he's not selling. And in this case, I don't feel like that was the case at all. He felt very much like a salesman on this one. So he cuts a promo, and Roman Reigns starts walking through the crowd. Brock Lesnar sees him. Roman Reigns grabs a steel chair. Brock Lesnar cuts him off at ringside with a huge clothesline. And there, they kind of do a back and forth. Roman Reigns grabs a chair, lands a bunch of chair shots on Brock Lesnar. Goes for a Superman punch where Brock Lesnar catches him and suplexes him outside the ring. Then it's Brock Lesnar's turn, and of course he gets the upper hand and wears Roman Reigns out with a chair, with an F5 to the steps. Brock Lesnar had pulled the steps apart and rammed him into Roman Reigns a couple times and then threw the steps in the ring. So the final blow was an F5 on the steps. Roman Reigns really hurt. And that was the end of the first segment. They cut to commercial break, they come back, and Roman Reigns is still hobbling outside, up the ramp. So, it was a good build. It definitely served its purpose as far as building up Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. I don't know that a lot of people are invested in this. I keep saying that, they're trying to feed us, babyface Roman Reigns and desperately wanting the fans to like him. And it's just not working, and honestly, it's backfiring a lot. So, that's what they're going to have to deal with at WrestleMania. I said in the last review that I think that if Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar is the last show for WrestleMania, the last match, I think they need to be ready for the crowd to boo WrestleMania out. And that's what's going to happen. I think that's a really stupid decision. I really, really do. So, we'll see what happens there. Then comes out Nia Jax, Mickie James. Mickie James comes out with Alexa Bliss, of course. And this match is typical Nia Jax, playing the beast, throwing around people, and being reckless and stupid about it in the ring. She grabs Mickie James one time, flings her around really haphazardly. Mickie James comes around wrong, lands on her leg wrong. And the reason I bring all these up is because there hasn't really been a match in recent memory where Nia Jax hasn't screwed up at least one big spot in the match and possibly put somebody at risk. I keep saying that. I think she's dangerous. I do like Nia Jax's emotional acting ability, though. I will say that I give her a lot of credit where she comes to, the sad crying emotion and the anger. She comes across as very genuine. And so I like that about her. I just, I worry about the people she's with in the ring because, I'm sorry, she's just not that good in the ring. So, Nia Jax wins, of course. And after the match, Alexa Bliss runs into the ring to attack Nia Jax. She hits her from behind. Nia Jax doesn't seem phased. Alexa Bliss runs out of the ring. Nia Jax kind of runs out of the ring like she's going to go after Alexa, then turns around and faces the crowd as she's going up the ramp. I really am not interested in this match for WrestleMania at all. And it's not that I don't absolutely love Alexa Bliss, it's that it's Nia Jax in a main event match with a high caliber athlete, and that high caliber athlete is going to be at risk the whole match. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. I have no vested interest in Nia Jax. It will kind of disgust me if she gets the belt. So honestly, this is one match where I don't even want to see it, to be very honest. But, I'm sure I'll watch it because it's a WrestleMania match. I'm definitely going to watch WrestleMania. I really don't like Nia. Anyway, from there, they do a Stephanie McMahon Triple H promo where it talks about their training and their personal trainer talking about how they train all the time and, it's an everyday event for them and how they can do the same things, super high caliber athletes in gymnastics and football can do. He says he trains people in all sports, MMA, and that they're just as good. So they're building up Triple H and Stephanie McMahon like this ain't going to be some pushover match for Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. I don't know. I mean, it was a decent promo, I guess, but wasn't really into it, I guess. I think things like this, when you're this close to WrestleMania, can be used better by having the people out there. But even then, cutting a different kind of promo, I don't know that we care how they train, honestly. So, thought it was another weak point. So far, out of 3 segments, you have 2 weak points. After that comes Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak and TJ Perkins. And yeah, I got my notes here, so when I'm looking down, gotta remember how everything went. I haven't watched 205 Live that much. I'm not invested in any storylines that they've got going on. I do understand that apparently, from what I've heard anyway, Triple H is supposed to be taking over the 205 Live segments and trying to push that as another pet project of his. And he's done amazing with NXT, and 205 Live definitely needs something to happen with it. But for this, I mean, I don't know that I really care. Now, I will say that the match did have some really cool athleticism, and they had some very acrobatic moves in there. I do love the cruiserweight division for that reason. I love the high-flying moves. I think these guys are probably the hardest working guys in the business, and it shows. So, I mean, the match was pretty entertaining, and, they had the shtick where Mustafa Ali kind of tagged himself in when Cedric Alexander, I think he dropped the backbreaker move he does, I don't know what it's called, and Cedric Alexander was going to go for the pin, and the referee's like, no, Mustafa Ali tagged himself in. Mustafa Ali does that crazy 450 splash, gets the pin. So there was a little bit of friendly rivalry because apparently Cedric Alexander is taking on Mustafa Ali at WrestleMania for the Cruiserweight title. But just because I'm not invested in the storyline, I didn't care that much. And I think a lot of people, haven't really been paying attention to 205 Live, and they probably feel the same way, I would imagine. So, not a low point, but not a high point either. It was there and it was cool, but didn't serve much purpose. In comes The Miz after that. He has a segment where he's talking to the Miztourage, and it looks like there's a lot of friction starting to brew between the Miz and the Miztourage. He's asking what the hell they're doing. And Seth Rollins comes out for Miz TV, and he starts kind of fueling the fire between the Miztourage and the Miz. Bo Dallas says something like, "You're overrated, you know, think you're an A-list actor and you can't fight." So there's building this heat between the Miztourage. Finn Balor comes down, starts fueling even more fire, and it looks like the Miztourage are going to implode. And Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel start backing the Miz up into Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, and then the Miztourage attack Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. All kind of a setup there. So it was actually pretty well done, like the way they did it. You know, the fans, I'm sure, all believed that the Miztourage was going to implode. So it was something they did that really, you know, caught you off guard, because you're like, oh damn, they're about to split up. And of course it's all a ruse. So it was cool. So far, the best segment of the night, to be honest, which is kind of sad. You go from there to a backstage promo with Kane doing his typical Kane thing. And I think in this day and age, his promos kind of lose a little bit, because he's very good as, you know, a character, but just something is lost there, and I don't know what it is. I wasn't completely sold on this promo, and that's not saying that it was bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, Kane's been a constant in WWE for, you know, 20 years. But, you know, I guess things get old after a while. From there, you have Asuka comes down to the ring, and while Asuka's in the ring, they do a short interview with her opponent, Jamie Frost, who is apparently new, or maybe just a local talent. And Jamie's like, you know, nobody's seen me yet, so I think Asuka's not ready for me. Of course, Jamie gets in there and gets her ass whooped very quickly. Complete squash match. Builds up Asuka a little bit, I guess. Even though nobody knew that chick and didn't care, I'm sure. After that, you get a Matt Hardy promo talking about how he deleted Bray Wyatt, and now he's entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Waste of talent there, but whatever. I don't get WWE. I really don't. Like, you've got a guy whose gimmick is just over as hell. Everybody was talking down about it, and it was a big ratings boost for Raw. And they still throw the guy in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal because they don't have anything else for him. Sad. So that's another downer for this episode. You have a Sasha Banks Bayley backstage segment. They're going back and forth about why each one should be pissed off at the other one. They start taking low blows at each other. And Sasha finally says, yeah, well, who was champion 4 times? And then Bayley's like, yeah, but how long did you keep it? Goes to turn around and walk away. Sasha grabs her by the hair, and the fight ensues between Sasha Banks and Bayley. The fight, you know, was pretty even. It was like one girl would start whooping the other girl's ass, and then they would flip-flop. Did that like 3 or 4 times. So they kept it kind of even, which I like. It wasn't just somebody like dominating the other. This sets up a very good rivalry though, and it's going to be interesting to see who they play for the heel. Because there was talk of Bayley going heel and Sasha going heel at one point, so, and maybe neither one will. But this promises to be a good feud, so that's good. I did like that. Next, Braun Strowman comes out. He faces Sheamus. pretty hard-hitting affair, of course. Sheamus, really good brawler type, likes to make his opponents feel it. But then you have Braun Strowman, who is Braun Strowman. Guy's a tank with legs. Of course, Braun Strowman's going to go over Sheamus. No surprise there. We still don't know who Braun Strowman's partner is. Big question mark there. So at the start of the third hour, Kurt Angle comes out and he starts interviewing Ronda Rousey, and quickly cut off by Absolution. Paige comes in as the mouthpiece for Absolution, and she's saying, you know, you need friends if you're going to make it in this business. Ronda Rousey's like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. So then Paige is like, well, then you just made some enemies. And Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville get in the ring and try to take care of Rousey. Of course, that doesn't work. Rousey drops Deville really quick, then grabs Mandy by the arm, and Kurt Angle's trying to get her not to break the arm, supposedly. And so, you know, they're trying to establish Rousey as a fighter in WWE. Which was cool. I mean, it was a cool segment. I know Sonya Deville is kind of an MMA girl, so it was nice to see those two instantly head-to-head. I did like that. From there, you have Gallows and Anderson versus Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, in defense of them jumping Finn Balor, their boy, earlier. This is kind of a thrown together match, I felt like. Didn't really have any stakes to it. Neither one of these teams that I know of are doing anything at WrestleMania, so it was kind of not really building towards anything. It was just a filler. Not a good filler at that. Gallows and Anderson win. Don't care. And then you go right into another, like, obvious filler match. Elias comes down, he does his Elias shtick, and then he's facing Rhino, of all people. I like Rhino. He was great when he was working with Edge and Christian, and, you know, but he hasn't done anything. You got Elias, who has no storyline, and Rhino, who has not done a damn thing lately. Why put this match on? You're 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, 13 days, and you got two filler matches back to back. I thought it was stupid. So Elias wins, I don't care. You get a Cena promo package talking about how he's been calling out the Undertaker and how Rudy's been about it, how he's taken a lot of low blows with the Undertaker. That leads into John Cena versus Kane. You know, I've already said that I'm not big on the idea of John Cena facing Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'm just not. The Undertaker is 53 fucking years old. John Cena is 40. Both of these guys are going to lose wind. It's not going to be the greatest match. I'm sorry, it's no disrespect to them. I've always said at some point the body just says, you know what? I can't do this as good as I used to. Now, John Cena's looking pretty healthy, but wind is a factor there. I've seen it. The Undertaker, it's time to let it go. Like, and as much as some fans are clamoring for one more match, yay, it's the Undertaker. He cannot put on the quality of match he used to. He just cannot. So, that's where we're left. Kane is 50, almost 51. And so this match had a slow pace, and, you know, this is what you expect. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm all about, you know, this is a young man's game. It really is. You take a lot of bumps and bruises over your career. Your body starts to wear down quickly. So it's not like you can do this into your 50s and 60s very well. You can do it, but you're not going to have near the caliber of match you used to in your 20s and 30s. Maybe early 40s. So the match was what it was, and God, I give Kane all the credit in the world because he really is a machine. At 50 years old, he can still put on a decent match. It was a decent match, I'll give it that. John Cena picks up the win, of course. It's a no DQ. They went back and forth with some cool spots with tables, shit like that. But at the end of the day, John Cena, he calls out the Undertaker again. Of course, there's no response. And that's how they leave the show. All the things they could have done, that's how they left the show. This show, to me, for a go-home show, or, I'm sorry, the show right before the go-home show, 13 days from WrestleMania, you need to have a fire-ass show. The writers need to be smacked in their fucking heads because this was ridiculous in a lot of places. 2 absolute who-gives-a-shit filler matches. And there was just so much wrong with it. Nia Jax being reckless with Mickie James, I mean, you gotta give it that. The Cruiserweight division, which not too many people have been paying attention to, so that's really a 3rd filler match. Asuka going up against an absolute nobody, a no-face, no-name person that we didn't care about. Like, this whole show was just a clusterfuck to me. It had a couple of good segments. The Miz and the Miz Taraj segment with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, I thought that was good. Banks and Bayley, I thought that was good. Roman and Brock was alright. So, I mean, if I'm going to grade this, it gets no further than a 5 out of 10. And for this, I think it gets a 4 out of 10 because for this show, man, did they screw the pooch. They should have went a lot harder on this, and they didn't. So, that's my review of Raw for March 26, 2018. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You think that maybe they should have tried a little bit harder, considering this is 13 days away from WrestleMania? I certainly do. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz, Cage Nation, out.